Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello and welcome to Redefining the Significance of You Time for You, by you, because of you. My name is Denise Drinkwalter, and I'm a midlife renewal coach supporting women worldwide to lean into and realize the importance of you. This channel aims to provide you, the viewer, with some takeaways that will help you change, shift, reevaluate, and or become more aware of what is possible. We have a variety of incredible guests sharing life experiences that have helped them become the amazing human beings that they are today. Every one of us, hands up, have had that infamous free time in our lives and frequently have felt guilty and or wrong for taking out time for ourselves. We're here to help change that and support you to see what is possible when you take the time for you, by you, because of you. It is an absolute honor and a real privilege to welcome Ande Lyons to our show today. Ande is a powerhouse in the entrepreneur and podcasting world, bringing decades of experience and passion to every venture she undertakes. At 67, Ande is a Forex founder and a former global startup mentor, and currently the host and producer of her sixth podcast since 2012. Don't be caged by your age. With a podcasting and live streaming career that began in 2012, Ande has built an impressive body of work, boasting over 800 episodes. For the past 2 years, she has embraced the role of pro-aging advocate, and since March of 2024, she has been building her EEAT, her EAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness in this space. In the startup ecosystem, Ande has made a profound impact, touching thousands of lives through a 250 episode live stream show and 3 years of co-hosting a monthly pitch event for startups in Boston. Her 8 years of mentoring with international accelerator programs have been instrumental in guiding countless entrepreneurs. Ande's diverse entrepreneurial journey includes launching a tech company, a food manufacturing business, a popular online platform, and several consulting businesses. Through her weekly conversations on Don't Be Caged by Your Age, Ande helps individuals aged 55 plus find the resources, ideas, and inspiration they need to thrive after 65. Across all her social media platforms, she is dedicated to helping people of all ages dissolve internalized ageist beliefs, encouraging them to pursue new dreams, seize fresh opportunities, and stay open to learning at every stage of life. Ande, we are so thrilled to have you with us here today. Welcome to our show.
I'm so delighted to be here. Got my clappers. Thank you so much for having me, Denise.
Oh, this is going to be such a great conversation because...
And thank you for that lovely introduction.
Isn't it amazing how we listen? It's like, wait a minute. Yeah,
who's she talking about?
Me. Help us understand why things started to roll for you into the ageism realm and what occurred for that new direction and new pathway for you.
Well, it was in the summer of 2022 when I decided to come out about my age. And I say it coming out because, especially being in the startup ecosystem, where it's very youth-centric, our society is youth-centric. It's almost like every day you're apologizing. I'm sorry I'm older. I'm sorry I'm over 60. I'm sorry I have these wrinkles and brown spots and barnacles all over my feet. It always felt like we needed to be ashamed or embarrassed or something, because everywhere we turned, everybody's like, no. And what was really frustrating in the startup ecosystem would be when at a pitch event, someone would say, "Oh, just explain your business as if you were telling your grandmother." And I would have to go, time out, everyone. We've been launching tech companies since the 70s, where probably before many of your parents were even born. So knock that off. We've been coding, gaming, since before personal computers, when we had to use punched cards. Stop making us out to be stupid around technology. For those of you who have had the internet and a smartphone since the day you were born. So I got here in the US, we have this well-known route called Route 66. So I got the Route 66 sign, ordered it on Amazon, held it up in front of me, took a picture, and I actually look in the picture almost apologetic, like, don't hate me, but I'm 66. And I wrote this post on LinkedIn about don't be caged by your age. A lot of times I was always saying that to the 19-year-olds who were founding a business, but I needed to talk to our generation saying, hey, I'm hearing too much about what you're supposed to be doing, even if it's just society or Hollywood and the movies saying, this is what you look like now, or heaven forbid, greeting cards. And I learned that ageism is the last socially acceptable discrimination going on out there, where you can just say anything belittling, marginalizing about turning 60 or older. I mean, Stephen Colbert had a whole riff on his show when he turned 60. So in this article that I wrote for LinkedIn, it went viral, and the comments were just phenomenal. Either people who were just really suffering because they were anxious about what am I going to do when I, quote, retire, or they were afraid of not being seen anymore. They saw what was going on, people becoming invisible. Others, though, that commented had reinvented themselves, had figured out what they were going to do. And I actually had to check my ageist bias when a gentleman said, hey, I'm 90 and I'm on my fourth business and I'm doing this and I'm just loving it. And I'm like, what are you doing here on LinkedIn at 90? And then I went, Andy, right? And so, and I like to focus a lot, of course, on women and aging, although sidebar, everybody, a lot of men have their panties in a twist right now who are in their late 50s going, what do you mean I can't get hired? What? It's their first time up against discrimination. Women have been discriminated from the day we were born. And so we're not used to it, but we have had to deal with it many times. And so after years of sexism and other isms in the workplace, to get slapped with ageism is really hard. So I do tend to focus on helping women, speak out, age out loud, and find the liberation from being able to say their age. Because, Denise, given I'm 67, the generation I was born into and the generation you were born into, we are not told to celebrate our age. We're told to hide our age.
Mm-hmm. And it's everywhere, isn't it? About, anti-aging this and look like this and the beauty products and, oh, I wish I was 20. Where's my 20-year-old body? I'm seeing so much of it. And there's such a disservice in us not being able to say, look what you get to look forward to. Look at the opportunities that exist because we're
still alive. Okay. So first of all, we need to celebrate that. We're old enough to know that people are beginning to pass from a variety of reasons, heart disease to, aging out in many different ways, cancer. I mean, my gosh. So first of all, get the clappers out. We are still here. And we need to not feel badly about that. We need to go, yay, and we have more to give to the world. And sure, maybe pulling in from the memory, retrieving information may not be as easy. I mean, cognitively things change, but I'll tell you right now, if forgetting things was a sign of aging, teenagers and folks in their 20s are much older than we are, right?
There's some truth behind that. Yes.
Oh, come on. We know that to be true. And I fortunately have a 26-year-old in my life who constantly is like, why did I walk into this room? Or what am I doing? And I go, okay, we're going to be fine. But this is such a wonderful time to feel. I mean, I know you're all about empowerment, Denise. So this is a wonderful time to feel empowered. And I'll go back to why it's important for women to feel empowered at this time of life. And it's because we have been responsible for so many other lives, from children to pets to community, church, whatever it is. We tend to be the provider of, is everyone okay? How are things working? Are you getting where you're going? Da, 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 Now we can think about ourselves. And what I'm seeing through conversations on Don't Be Caged by Your Age and out in the world in the pro-aging movement, people are coming up with things that I would never have thought of. For example, from the Toronto area, we have Charlotte, who at the age of 65 is a signed model. Had she ever modeled in her life? No. Does she look like someone who should have been modeling her whole life? No. But she has performed, she has done other things, and this was something she really wanted to do. And she shares wild clothing and her age, and the camera can't get enough of her, and clients are hiring her through the modeling agency. Who would have thought that, right? Or in episode 2, we talked to Mildred Mills, who wanted to write a book. She grew up in the deep South, especially in the Jim Crow era. She picked cotton with her grandmother. She came from a very abusive family. She was the third of 17 children from the same mother and father. But she went on and had an incredible, fulfilling life, but she knew she had stories to tell. So she went back to school to get her master's in creative writing at 68, published her first book at the age of 72. And now she's doing what she really wanted to do, would just be a speaker, a motivational speaker. And it's happening. So
love it.
There's so many things that we need to do, but as Judith Kernick told us in episode 10, and or episode 11, and I refer to the episode so folks can go and listen. Judith,
sure.
Yeah, when she came from a background of high level performer, from being a classical musician to doing remarkable things in the C-suite. When a health condition stopped her in her tracks at the age of 60, she was like, well, who am I going to be? And this is what happens. We get so caught up in our role, whether it's mother or the lunch lady at elementary school to a high performing C-suite executive. We get so caught up in our identity being that role. When it's time to stop and reflect, what are we going to do? That's why we need people like you in our lives to help us pull back and discover and uncover different passions. You don't need to do this alone. But my gosh, with the longevity happening, yes, there are people certainly who don't have the privilege of living as long as you and I have, but there's plenty who do. And it looks like we're going to be looking at the late 80s, early 90s. What are you going to do, right? And how many different things are you going to do in this wonderful patchwork quilt time?
Exactly. There's something you shared there that I thought was really, really good. And what it says to me is something that comes a lot through my coaching. People come to me, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Right. And so what I like to do is I like to shift that from doing to being.
Yes.
How do you want to be in your life? Not what do you want to do? Because what I find is we've been doing, particularly, not only, but particularly as moms, working or not, but like you just said, giving, making sure the dog is fine through right to our sandwich generation, our parents, like all of that. And that's the doing. And so you get into that identity loop again, where you don't drop the identity. So I find people are stuck in, well, I don't know what to do. Let's get to being instead of doing, because doing comes out of being. And it can be anything. When we go to the do, we look at the list that's already existing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so we then go back into the structures that were already pre-existing.
It's the to-be list, not the to-do list. And that requires the uncovering. That requires the exercises that ask you those questions. And yes, it's work. Anytime you want to get ahead in life, you got to make an effort, right? And the beauty of having a coach like you, Denise, is that you have someone who will help you be accountable, help you probe, and help you pull out different things about yourself and then put a spotlight on it. Just like when Denise read, right, when you read my bio in the beginning, I'm like, who's she talking about? Oh, yeah, that's me. Sometimes we forget. And so to have someone like you be able to help us, you do not have to do this journey alone.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. What has been the most exciting part of your journey? If I had to have you choose something fairly recent around what's been happening for you and your changes and your giving back for you, by you, because of you concept.
Oh my gosh. I think now when I look in the mirror, I don't sit there and go, oh, geez, I guess I got to pay to get that done. I got to get that fixed. I look and go, of course you look like this. All of these lines across your face tell you the story of who you are, Brandy Carlisle, and where you've been. And wow, you're supposed to look like this. It's okay. It's okay to be older. You know, it's okay to have this skin changing from that crepey. You look down sometimes. I'm telling you, the level of self-love, the radical self-love really shifts, especially after 65 when the signs are really there. And to be able to go, instead of feel ashamed, to be able to see myself and go, oh, you're supposed to look this way. That's okay. You don't need to cover up. You don't need to hide. And I'm still always going to be wearing makeup. I mean, I've been getting dolled up since I was 3. So that's just who I am as an individual.
Love it.
And accessories and all of that. But for me, there's just this, Denise, there's this whole nother level of acceptance. I don't feel afraid of going out into the world as an old lady, so to speak, right? And so so just launching this podcast and this platform has helped me significantly love myself more and accept myself more and feel perfectly fine aging out loud in the world. Never thought that was going to happen. Seriously.
What a gift. What a gift.
It frees you up. It's liberating, and it allows you to focus on other things because you're not apologetically being out there and thinking nobody's going to see me. You see you.
And isn't that the point? It's not about what everybody else thinks. I'm good. I am so good right now, and let's have a conversation. So be it, right?
Well, the other thing that's been so surprising, on the show, people have to be old enough to be on my podcast because I want the representation there. It's one thing to talk about it from your 50s, but to see people, and it's the folks in their 70s that are blowing my mind. They are having the best time doing these remarkable things in the world, adding value. They definitely had to take a look and take a step back and say, how do I want to be?
Yes.
And then boom, blossoming and adding value and doing all these things that are making them happy as well as others.
Right, right. I always say when you are aligned in your full energy and coming together as your you-ness, everybody else is impacted, and you don't have to do the work to make everybody else understand who you are. It just emanates from you as it does from you.
Thank you. And Judith Kern also introduced me into the energy portfolio. So as you're aging, I mean, sure, there's overachievers everywhere. You're watching like an 80-year-old scale a mountain and these other people doing, I never would have done that in my 20s. Okay, that's okay. But you do look about the day and you go, okay, how can I create this life that helps me energetically invest? So what does that look like? What does that feel like? I mean, I've interviewed people, one eye can't walk and they're still able to have a fulfilling business. You're going to hear from Julie Dennis in episode 14. She's a PI. Okay. She doesn't have to leave home. She has physical challenges. Same
Yeah.
with episode 8. Sandra Allison has a resume business. She's 72. She just had to hire another person. It's so busy. And by the way, anybody who wants to have their resume audited and looked at, she makes sure that the screening systems, the ATS systems out there that screen your resume, don't catch the fact that you're over 50. They present you very skills
Beautiful.
based. Yeah. So you don't get hit with
Beautiful.
ageism there. Anyway, so it's just,
Yeah, I love that.
it's very exciting to be excited about this time period instead of, you always hear, you go out to the pasture. Well, that's for horses, not for humans. Humans are primarily entities that need purpose in their life. They need a reason to get out of bed. And this is why the World Health Organization has said that retirement is costing societies billions of dollars a year because people have been retired and they don't know what to do. They're sitting on the couch, their health starts to decline, and that just the cost of that, and they get into assisted living sooner, and oh, it's just terrible. And it's not just the US or Canada, it's societies.
Right. And we have an opportunity to help flip that switch 100%.
Right. And Denise, the thing that can be the biggest hindrance, right? Biggest barrier for us is what we have internalized about aging, thanks to society and the institutions, et cetera, where we start telling ourselves, we can't do that. We're too old now. Really? Are you? Or we can't do that, fill in the blank. And it's a little voice that comes up in our head. And it's not necessarily the truth.
And so let's flip that script right now in this conversation and say, I wonder how I could do that.
Clappers.
Right? Instead of saying, well, I couldn't do that. I want people who are listening, watching the replay to take it and readjust it and say, I wonder how I could do that. And that opens up the brain into a whole new realm of possibility. Yeah.
That's my new favorite line now, Denise. I wonder how I could do that.
Yes.
Because it does two things. It opens up the brain to then start scrolling around, as it does when you ask those kind of probing questions, but it also sets an intention.
Yes.
Oh, man, I
momentum.
love that.
Right? Yeah. And that's, yeah. We need to reconvene after, because there's so many things that are coming up for us right now through this conversation. Well, any words of, I was just going to say.
Oh, just going to say you're on YouTube. So it's perfect that you're on YouTube, because that's where everybody goes to, I wonder how I could do that.
Yeah.
And there you are.
Exactly. That's right. Good point. Is there anything, I mean, I absolutely love, I can't wait to dive into all of the episodes in Don't Be Caged by Your Age. I love the title. It's brilliant. Not surprising, but it's brilliant. Good job. And I wonder if there's anything that you would love to share with the audience, just to make sure that you plant a seed of possibility in terms of don't be caged by your age, or any other words of wisdom that you have before we finish our conversation for today.
I know the world is telling you that ambition is ageless. Nope, sorry. Let me reframe that. I know the world is telling you that you're done. You're a dried up prune. We don't need you anymore. And I'm here to tell you that ambition is ageless. Your energy is ageless. And as Denise said, in flipping that script, find ways that you can get excited about this time in your life, because it can be very freeing. I know there are tons of constraints out there that you could be facing, financial, health, etc. But when you reframe the story you're telling yourself about aging, the possibilities that can come out of nowhere that you never would have thought of, never even knew, are phenomenal and enlivening. And the world is not done with you yet. The world needs you. until it's over. As Cindy Lauper says, it ain't over till it's over.
I love it. And isn't that the truth? I know in our introduction, I mentioned about learning. That is one of my mantras. My first key one is doing something for you, by you, because of you every single day. And the second one is there is no day that comes across my path that I am not learning. If I'm not learning, then that's my last breath, because that's what I believe in my heart and my soul.
It's the truth. Nobody is on their deathbed saying, gosh, I wish I hadn't learned so many things.
Bingo. Yeah. Love it. Ande, I want to have you back sometime. This has been phenomenal. I really appreciate your voice, your stamina, your ability to bring so many wise people to your show and share what is going on, to give other people opportunities to ponder, hey, wait a minute, what's possible for me? I never even thought of that. I love it.
That's the number one reason for Don't Be Caged by Your Age, is to plant seeds of, is what you just said. And also to bring them resources like yourself that they can go and join and hire and be part of a community who is also asking those questions and helping folks age out loud.
I love it. Let's age out loud together. Thank you so much for being with us today. And if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, go and click that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss any of these powerful conversations. Nuggets of gold in every conversation we have every Tuesday. Take care of yourselves and make sure you go and do something for you, by you, because of you, today and every day. Take care, everyone. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in the show notes, call to action is your website. So make sure you click on the website and go and yeah.
Wherever you tune into podcasts, Don't Be Caged by Your Age is there.
Perfect. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.